I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to change subject and everything. I'm going to talk about the one of the most current things, and that's about the Guthrie issue going on. I think it's in Arizona. And there's a lot of answers, or questions, I should say, that's not being answered. And hopefully we can mention this here in a little bit. And I want to show y'all some things about this whole deal that kind of stands out in my mind. Of course, we have the thing that happened. And what gets me, guys, about the whole thing to begin with is they didn't find blood traces until the next day. And also, there's no proof that they did a DNA test or any kind of test to link the blood sample to the mother, Nancy Guthrie. So that raises a lot of questions. It's quickly to say that it was her blood without any proof or documentation or anything else saying it was hers by testing. So that is kind of odd. And the second thing is, the first day they said they saw no signs of forced entry, but suddenly 2 or 3 days later, they're talking about forced entry. Inside, they did not find a mess. They said the first day or first 2 days, and now they're talking about it was kind of messed up inside. So things don't add up. The other thing that kind of stuck out is they have these cameras supposed to be recording stuff, but for some reason the subscription was let go just a little while before this. So there's no Ring doorbell or any of those other cameras evidence as record. Now, of course, they come out and said later on they contacted the service and found out that they had stored this information anyway. We'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, so that right there is just odd right here. Another thing is that the local police department, sheriff's department, or whatever, city or whatever, has been to the house multiple times. And each time they come back, they say this, that, and the other, more this, more that. And yet there's no substantiated proof. In fact, it's kind of crazy. And I got a theory on that, guys. It's because they're not really putting forth any evidence that they found. They're relying on the FBI to find evidence. And this is because this is a well-known figure in the neighborhood, in the area. And if they was start finding evidence against this well-known figure in the neighborhood, well, it wouldn't go over too good. So they're going to let the FBI find the evidence and just assist as they are doing now. So, yeah, I'm getting to that point here in a minute. So a lot of things don't add up. Again, the blood testing wasn't done. All this other stuff was done. And guys, 10 days, 11 days later, they finally come up with a doorbell video of a person of question, a person of interest come to the door and doing things like that. But there's no doorbell camera showing the person going in the house or anything else like that. And another thing that stood out, you guys, I want you to go ahead and do it yourself. I'm not going to put the images up here. But if you look at the director of the FBI, Cash Patel, and the suspect that they picked up and used as a person of interest to begin with, well, they look a lot alike, very much quite a bit alike. Now, there's some references that there's tied to the Epstein stuff, because this, that, and the other. I don't really know all of it because I don't really care. I don't care about the Epstein stuff, guys. It's a big nothing, because nothing will be done except people will point their fingers and yell at the loudest voice they have about it, and that's it. So let it go. All right. Anyway, going back to this Guthrie thing. So we heard all that, and then now, they found, the other day they talked about they found one glove about 2 miles away. And then on down the road, they found another glove suddenly, like 2 days later, and the next day, whatever. And then now they're talking about saying that the gloves were found within a mile of the house, and now they're saying nearby the house. So we have a lot of conflicting reports about what's going on. Of course, this comes from the media, so we can't really believe them too much about what they say. But the truth is, guys, we got a lot of evidence trails that's not doing right. The collection of evidence to begin with by the local police department and even the FBI is really full of faulty faults and everything like that. So it's not conclusive. So we'll point again now to the ransom notes. Now, there's been like 3 or 4, maybe 5 ransom notes been sent, and each one of them demand X amount of money or whatever, but there's no follow-up instructions on this. Leave the money here, we'll contact you later. None of this stuff is being apparent. In fact, TMZ even come out yesterday said they got a ransom note too. So it's almost like a circus show going on right now, guys. So, that's kind of odd that this is going on. And, so there's a lot of things here that don't add up. Like, why did the local police department have to go in 6 or 7 different times and find more and more evidence, and each time turn out more information that contradicts the previous information? The lack of testing on the blood at the doorstep, no cameras, but yet they suddenly found evidence. So, guys, this is don't add up. So I'm going to point out a couple things to you here, guys. And I'm getting ready to point my fingers in the direction I think it should be pointed. So let me switch this up here. Now, you can go ahead and fact check, but Savannah Guthrie herself is about 5 feet 10 inches tall. The evidence, according to the Ring doorbell camera, or the doorbell camera, the suspect is 5 feet 10 inches tall. But there's no height on her sister, Annie, is mentioned. According to news reports from early 2026, Savannah Guthrie stands at 5'10" and has recently been the subject of public interest regarding a 40-pound weight loss. While celebrity weights are often estimated, current public reporting and health-focused articles highlight the following details. Current weight estimate, 120 to 130 pounds. Now, guys, 40 pounds to 130 pounds? 130 pounds plus 40, that's 170 pounds. And this was a very large woman at one time. Even 160 to 170 pounds, guys. This is a large woman. 5'10", of course, that's a large frame, too. Also, for a woman. Current estimate weight, 120 to 130 pounds. And height 5'10". They talked about some of her things I hear at fasting routine that she went into after, I don't know what it was and everything, some kind of health craze went on. So I went ahead and asked what shoe size she wears. And basically, there's nothing there for it, but I did find a chart for it here, but we'll get to that in more first. So here we go right here. This is Savannah Guthrie, years ago, of course, in a bikini. Now, I want you to notice how wide the shoulders are versus how wide the hips are. We know that's a kind of a sign of a transgender or somebody that's been portrayed from one thing to another. The wider hips, the slow sloping of hips like a man, and the narrowing of the hips and the wideness of the shoulders. I've not been able to get a good close-up image of the neck yet, but, we can just kind of think of that. Oh, yeah, by the way, since I don't have it handy, her shoe size is size 9. Here is another image of her after the birth of her daughter. I don't know how long ago it is. But one of the things I want to notice right now is the idea of a 5 o'clock shadow. And around here, too, also across the chin. And guys, I want you to note this. I can't zoom in on it. But you guys know what it's like when you first start shaving and you get around to your chin. How you hack it all up and you get these splotches, these divots and everything in your chin, and they stay there for the rest of your life because we took out a chunk of skin and flesh. And what we see here is where evidence of chunks of skin and flesh has been carved out, perhaps by a razor blade. Here's a picture of her next to her sister, Annie. Now notice the size differences between these two in the width and in the height. Now, Savannah supposedly is 5'10". Now, if she stands up straight, right here is where it comes across, right here, her height, right here. But if Savannah stands up straight, that would put her sister's height around about right here, around mouth level, maybe about nose level. And I did a quick measurement on my head, on my own head, guys, saying I'm average, unless you want to think I've got a big head, but from my mouth to the top of my head is 8 inches. So this woman is approximately 8 inches taller than this one. So she's 5'10". This woman right here, her sister Annie, is around 5'10". Now here's another picture of Savannah next to her mother. Again, bent over so she don't appear gargantua, and with her head tilted sideways also, so you cannot see how tall she really is. But guys, she's a head and a mid-neck taller than her mother. So she is 5'10", so this is over 10 inches. So her mother is less than 5 feet tall. And here's one more image I'm going to get to right here. So all three of them together. Now, as you can see, when she stands up there, she is much taller than her mother and much taller than her sister. Even by comparison, you can tell right here. Her chin would be mid-forehead of her sister, approximately, and her mouth, maybe nose area, would reach right here. Again, 8 inches from here to here. She's 5'10", so that puts her sister at around 5 foot, maybe 5'1", and the mother just under 5 foot, maybe 4'10". So that's kind of what I want to talk to you about this, guys. That there's a lot of things that don't add up, a lot of things that don't make sense. Let's shrink this down here for you. Get back around to the camera, get it back around right where I'm at. So as I mentioned, the camera, they went to the camera company, the Ring camera, the doorbell camera company, and got the recording from them about what was going on in the area on this day. But they've not got any other cameras from recording from anybody else anywhere in the area. So this is kind of odd that there's no video evidence or photography image evidence anywhere else except at the Gutherie house. They've asked everybody to show it, and everybody has, and there's no other evidence, so that kind of stands out. And so about this Ring camera, guys, like I said, they went to the company and got recorded footage, even though the subscription had expired. Recently at the Super Bowl, they talked about having these camera systems outside your house to search for dogs. Of course, this kicked up a big bunch of stuff about privacy and everything else like that. They're using it to recover humans and all, runaways and endangered people and stuff like this. Well, that's all good and thing. But the thing is, guys, is that come out of this, that they all, every one of them, all record without your permission, without a subscription. And they all keep that information stored. They all sell that information to the highest bidder, and you have no control of it. It's a perfect invasion of privacy. And the thing is, guys, people have these in their homes, in the bedrooms, in the kitchens, in the living rooms, or outside and inside the house, watching every aspect of the house. And this is recorded and stored and sold and used against you, and not in a court of law either. So that's kind of a big thing. So I don't know how really to defeat this unless you get off the subscription service and don't connect to the internet with these cameras where other people would see it. But if you live in a community, here's an idea. If people of the community can get together and put a local server together and link all of their cameras to the server, therefore everybody in that community or the area would have a recording themselves on the server rack that they can use for their own selves, available to the people in the community only by coded access. Y'all know what I mean, okay? So that would be the only way I could think of defeating this right now, is get away from these cameras, doorbell cameras that require subscriptions, and you get ones that works off SD or the ones that work off a localized network. They are available, and they're not real expensive. So that's up to you on that if you want to do this. But yeah, security is getting to be a big thing, guys, and privacy is supreme over all of it. So there's that, guys. But anyway, like I said, we got some questions about this whole Guthrie thing. I do believe it points to Savannah, in my estimate. The first day I heard it, I hollered bullshit to begin with, and I've kept my mouth shut about it, but I've been noticing and paying attention, and all things point to somebody in the family, somebody about 5 feet 10 inches tall. So anyway, I hope you have a good day and a better day tomorrow. Reach out and do something nice for somebody, guys. It's the best thing you can do for anybody. Try to be nice. Try to be good, because that makes the world a better place. Later, taters.
Attention passengers, we've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.